So was that song that we wrote that weekend?
It is.
Cool.
It is in, what was it, 4 hours
Yeah, which was
with
a
the help of people from Reddit.
nice little
For the-
experiment.
Yeah. So with the people from Reddit writing the lyrics.
Cool.
Remember that? So
Yeah,
people were
yeah. That was
posting, they
pretty
were
funny.
posting, like we would mumble. I think like I was mumbling stuff, and then people on Reddit were writing. Oh, was it Reddit or was it on Twitch? I can't remember now. I think people were on Reddit while we were doing it. I'm not sure. And then they were writing lyrics into the chat.
Yeah,
Or I think we got them over to Twitch from Reddit. That's what it was.
because
And
you
then they
started
jumped
on
on.
Reddit streaming way back when and then went to Twitch.
Yeah. So when COVID started and they started doing, it was called the Reddit sessions. So everyone was home just kind of broadcasting, playing music and stuff like that. And I started just with, I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. And I got a camera, I had a webcam, stuff like that. And then I worked out how to use OBS, the broadcasting software. So I jumped on and started doing a few streams, just doing covers and stuff like that, like requests. And then there was one stream when I don't know what happened, but well, for whatever reason, everyone jumped off while I was streaming, and I went to what's called the front page of Reddit. So basically, what that means is when everyone scrolled Reddit, yep, they always put Reddit sessions into the feed. And I just came up on the front page and people jumped on and started watching. And I think it had 60,000 people watched.
Wow.
So that was the number, 60,000 people. So I'm sitting there playing away. There's usually like 10 people on there max. And you can see the little number in the corner of the screen and it says how many people are watching. And then all of a sudden it just went 200, 400, 700, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000. And I'm just watching this thing. And I can tell you now, the anxiety that kicked in when I saw that number go up, like I was halfway through a song and I was just going, I was really crap at myself. I was thinking, this is the most people that's ever watched me perform anything in my life. And it was actually what happened was if they gave you awards, so Reddit had this award system, and what they do is they'd give you awards, and that would extend your time that you could broadcast. And what happened was someone that worked at Reddit was watching the stream, and they were like, oh, yeah, they requested a couple of songs. And I guess they were the right age to know the songs I was playing or whatever. And they gave me these awards, like it's something like the gold award got you an extra hour or something like that. They gave me like this plutonium award or adamantium award or something like that, and it was worth like 50 gold. And they just went bang, 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 and they gave me like 8 of those, and it extended my performance time out to like 16 hours or something like that.
Wow.
And
So
I,
this
and I
happened
was
during
just
COVID when everyone was at home and what?
everyone was at home. So I'm just playing and I just kept going. I kept playing. And I reckon I did like a 4 or 5 hour Reddit session. It was at the point where I was like, oh, I don't know how much more I can do, guys. And they're like,
Wow,
dude,
that's
you've
pretty
done enough.
epic.
Yeah. They're going, go to bed, man. Go to bed. It's all good.
Most touring
But
artists only do like 2.5 hour concerts, so it's
oh,
like
I
a
was
whole day.
cooked. I was cooked. I was like playing guitar and then and people were going, oh, what's that in the background? I had a didgeridoo in the background. They're like, what's that thing? Because these people are all over the world. And I'm like, oh, it's a didgeridoo. And they're like, can you play that? I'm like, yeah, I can play that. So I went and picked that up and I'm playing that. It just got to like, I was just basically doing whatever they were asking. And then I just went, no, I got to go. But
So is that
that
how Tuesday Tigershell Request Fest came
that's
to
it.
be out of that Reddit
Exactly,
session?
exactly how it started. So that's where I got in touch with Buck. And I said, "Oh, do you want to come and do this thing?" So I think he started out bringing his guitar over, and we started doing just like duo type stuff. And then there we go. And then we moved off Reddit and we said, all right, let's go to Twitch. I don't know why I chose Twitch. I can't remember the reason for that. I think that was I think someone said you should stream on Twitch, something like that. So we went, yep,
So that's how we met through.
yeah, that's how we met. Yeah, you were our only viewer at one point. Remember, you used to watch the streams.
Quality over quantity.
And then Buck said, "Oh, Yana plays drums," and I went, "Oh, she should come round." I reckon we've been. How long has it been now? It's got to be over 3 years now.
Yeah, I reckon it's been about 3 years.
Right. So I've got every stream we've done recorded on Pro Tools.
Yeah, that's an amazing back catalogue.
It's amazing. Like, well, I can come out here and I can just fire up Pro Tools and I can just mute my track and my vocal track or mute whatever I want to play and I just play along. So I jam with you and Buck 3 or 4 times a week, but you're not here. So you guys aren't here. So I still jam along.
We're your backing band every other day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but I understand you and Buck had a podcast going before
We did.
started
We,
streaming.
we did. It was called Just Guitars and it was wicked fun. And I think we did like 10 episodes and we just never did a thing with it. I actually gave copies of the podcast to people I knew and said, "Oh, what do you reckon of this?" And they were like, "Oh, this is great. I want to listen to it." But what would happen is we'd be doing the podcast and like this is live now. We'd be doing the podcast and someone would say something and we'd go, "Oh," and Buck would say something like, "I will edit that out later." and but what happened was it ended up being such a big monumental thing to go and have to try and edit things out later that we just never did it. And then we'd refer to like things, we'd refer to images and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, well, now we've got to upload the images and like we didn't video it. I think it was just, if I remember correctly, it was just talking.
Well, if
So
it's
then
just
we'll,
talking, then you probably could get away with not uploading the images.
but we referred to them. So we'd go, oh, check this picture. Oh, it'll be in the podcast. So probably should have just assumed that it would go live, but we didn't. We kind of referenced things, and then the work to do the things that we referenced was massive. But we did this wicked thing. The best thing we did in that podcast was we did this massive guitar battle thing where we picked like all these famous guitarists and we like randomly assigned them into battles and we said, oh, who would win out of, and we had this criteria like shred chops, and then we had like popularity and cool. There was like X Factor. That was
Cyrus
like,
would love that podcast. You should definitely release it.
it was pretty cool. And then we'd go scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and find like stuff that was for sale and go, oh, is this a good deal and all that kind of stuff. Like, it was actually, in hindsight, we probably should have done something. We put the time in, but you know what? Most of the fun of it was doing the show and
Yeah,
sitting around
actually
and talking,
recording it and yeah.
just talking about it. It's great fun.
Oh, well, you never know. There could be a
Resurrection.
podcast. Yeah. So your other passion is cycling.
Yeah.
One of
Um,
many, of course, but
yeah.
how did you get into cycling?
Okay. So cycling for me started in 2016. So in 2015, it's about 2015, I was probably 25 kilos heavier than I am now. I was overweight, had a few medical things start to pop up that was linked to being overweight. And at the start of 2016, I just went to the doctor and I was like, I just don't feel right. There's something wrong. I know there's something wrong. And the doctor said, oh, it's just anxiety. And instantly prescribed me, I not antidepressants. It was like dimazepam. I don't even know what that is. It's some
Not
kind of
diet or lifestyle or exercise or
nothing like that. Went straight to dimazepam. Here you go. Go fill this dimazepam script and
help with
on
the
your way.
anxiety?
Yeah, recorded on my profile that I was I had anxiety and was being treated for anxiety. And I'm like, I got home, I had the dimazepam prescription. I just threw it in the bin. I was like, there's no way that this is what's wrong. There's
So
something
you knew
fishy.
that that wasn't right for you.
I knew it wasn't right. I knew it wasn't right. It wasn't just anxiety. I knew it was something. And I just, uh, I just researched it myself and I just found like symptoms what happened was I was working interstate and every Friday, like I lived in Parramatta for a month or 2 months while I was training for a job. And every Friday I would fly back home to be with my family. And I was at the point where no matter what happened, I couldn't make it from the office to the airport without needing to pee. No matter how many times I went before I drove off, like I remember one time I went like 5 times, like I could not have peed another drop and then needed to pee again on the way to the airport. And I'm like, that's not right. So I'm looking up all these symptoms and came to type 2 diabetes. So I went down to the doctor and I said, I think I've got type 2 diabetes. She's like, oh, you don't have type 2 diabetes. Why do you say that? And I went, well, I've looked it up. The symptoms I've got, I wee all the time. I can't remember what else it was. Like I had skin rashes that didn't heal very quickly and stuff like that. And I'm like, just things I've read. And she's like, oh, we'll get you to do a test. And I went, all right. So I went down and did a glucose tolerance test. And I went back to the doctor and to get the result, I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'll just go get the result. And she goes, oh, yeah, you've got diabetes. And I went, so did you say I'm pre-diabetic? She went, no, you've got diabetes. Okay, she says, gets out a piece of paper. She goes, so your lifespan's going to be shorter now. You're probably going to need to go on insulin or metformin or something like that. She goes, you need to start, and she drew a picture of a plate, and she goes, when you eat food, you need to like have that portion of rice and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I was just sitting there going, am I in a dream? I remember driving home from the doctor thinking, I'm going to die. Because my dad died quite young. He was only 62 when he died, and he had diabetes related stuff. So
Oh, wow.
the next day, because I had two young kids under, or at 2 years old they were. So one under two. So I had a 2-year-old and an infant. He'd only just been born 3 or 4 months before. And I'm like, I'm not dying early. I'm not going to do what my dad did. Like I watched my dad slowly die and just through like diabetes and just like bad health and heart conditions and stuff. And I've got all the things. I've got high blood pressure, cholesterol, but I've had that since I was in my 20s. And I just went, that's it. I'm doing something. And I went ridiculous cold turkey. Like just bang, next day, instant diet, instant no alcohol. So I haven't had alcohol since that day.
Wow.
So it's been over 10 years since I've had alcohol. And I just went,
In Australia,
that,
as a musician, that's a real challenge.
I know, yeah. But I was like, that's it. And I'm doing something about it. So I started with dieting and really quickly lost a heap of weight and then joined the gym. And then I met a mate at the gym who lives down the road here, just on this street that I live on. And we started going to the gym together. And I was talking to him one day and he's like, oh, he was on his bike. And I said, oh, I've got a bike. Do you want to go bike riding? I had like this hybrid bike that I'd bought a couple of years before. And we decided to start riding together. So we rode three times a week, and then we go to gym the other day. So I was working out 6, 7 days a week at that point, and then I just got right into it. So I bought a proper road bike in 2018, and basically went
What
um,
was your first ever road bike?
a giant TCR advanced road bike. So I'm like, a guy at work just said, "Oh, you should buy this bike." And I'm like, yep, sweet. So I just got into it. And I'm not a bike buff. Like I don't get into I've got this bike with this wheel set, or I don't get into any of that. I just like riding it. I just like the exercise. I like the feeling you get afterwards. But I've just got a tendency to go really hard at things and I go all in or nothing. And I'll tell you why later, because there's little things about me that make me go all in. But basically, I just went crazy with it and just went right in, full on training. Bought a smart trainer, started training with what's called an erg trainer. Got super fit for my age and lost a heap of weight. And then started really hitting the gym, controlling my diet full on. I've counted calories since 2016. I've used scales to weigh my food since 2016. I just, it's just part of what I do now. Like I weighed all my food today.
So that's pretty full on to go cold turkey on a lot of those things. That's hard for a lot of people to cut everything all at once.
I know, but the thing is, like with me, and what I find is if you go hard enough at the start and just stick to it, it's like escalation of commitment. Like you don't want to let yourself down. You don't want to,
Just go
like
all in.
yeah, you just go all in, and then you've done it for so long.
It's a
Like I
new
had,
lifestyle.
yeah, I had a streak on My Fitness Pal, which is where I log all my calories. I had a streak, like I'd done it for like 787 days in a row. So
Wow.
that became my thing. I'm like, I can't break that streak. I have to keep going because like it gets to the point where you've done it for so long, you feel like it'd be a disappointment to break it's like what I imagine ultra marathon people being like, or something like that. People that are trying to break a world record, they're just like, I got to just keep going, I guess. So that's kind of, yeah, I just went all in and just didn't stop, basically.
So you say you're not a cycling buff, but you did decide to start a YouTube channel.
I did actually. Oh yeah. So this is just yeah, I don't even know what you would call these videos. It's basically just me and my mate down the road um riding gravel bikes around, and I don't even know what I don't. The thing is with some of this stuff, I don't even know why I do it. I never went, I'm gonna have a YouTube channel and I'm gonna make it my thing. I never do it to it's a challenge to myself. It's something for me to go, can I do a YouTube channel? Can I write a book? Can I release an album? Can I whatever? Like
You've done all
I
those
kind
things. You're very motivated. That's
but
why
it's
I'm
just
I'm planning on calling this episode The Motivated You because
yeah,
you're
right.
very, driven and motivated to do lots of things. That's exactly why I started this podcast because I thought,
Yeah,
well, sure, my technical skills could be more advanced and sure, there's lots of other people doing it, but can I do it?
yeah. I mean, everyone starts somewhere. Everyone that's ever done something, like I say to my kids all the time, learning is part of the journey. No one expects you to know everything straight away. So you don't have to. And I used to feel really bad, really not bad, but just weird about asking questions. I used to think, "Oh, I reckon people will think I'm stupid." And I used to sit there and people would say something, and I'd be at work when I was younger, and I'd be at like a conference or something, and they'd be talking about something. And I'd just be going, well, that doesn't make much sense. And I'm thinking, I should ask why, but I was always too scared in case they went, oh, what would you know? Oh, geez, what a dumb question. How do you not know that? How are you here and not know that? So I thought I was stupid for a long time. Like I was just like,
You
well,
just
why
seem like
do
a curious person. I'm a bit the same. I ask questions all the time. And some people have said that it's a bit annoying because, I ask too many questions. But for me, it helps me understand things better. And I love learning. I'm naturally curious. I want to know, you know.
yeah. Well,
So
half the time you've got a question, someone else has probably got it as well. That's
yeah,
the other
they
thing
just
as
haven't
well.
asked it.
Yeah. Or don't know how to ask it. Or sometimes your question will make someone go, oh, I didn't think about that. Like, so I remember being at work and then I was I was at a certain point and I was like, I can't go any I was just felt like I'm not going any further. Like I was a manager. I was a manager, but I was pretty low income and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I can't go any further. And I saw all these people around me just like promoted, promoted, promoted. And I'm like, nah, I'm doing something about it. I'm going to go ask. So I went into the big boss's office and I was like, can I speak to you for a sec? And he goes, sit down, by all means. By the way, I'd won an award. I won the General Manager's Award the year before, which is awarded to like the general manager to just pick someone that he thinks did a really good job. So I'm like, well, I'm general manager.
At your last workplace?
No, this is like a couple of jobs ago,
Okay.
couple of jobs. So I'm thinking I'm general manager's award winner here. I should be cruising. And I get in there and I'm like, what? I said, why am I stuck? Why can't I go anywhere here? And he's like, huh. He goes, do you really want to know? And I went, I do. He goes, are you sure? I went, yep. And he goes, shut the door. So I'm like, all right. So I turn around and I shut the door to his office. And he goes, I'm going to tell you the reason why. He goes, you're not going to like it. He goes, the reason you aren't going anywhere is because you don't have a uni degree. And I went, what? I went,
Really?
yeah, I went, that's ridiculous, mate.
Most
I
of the
said,
time, experience trumps degrees.
well, I'll tell you something about that. So I was like, why? What do you know that I don't know? And he goes, is this a PG-13? Am I allowed to swear on this podcast or not? Hang on, you've gone quiet.
Sorry. I've not put it out for kids,
All
so
right.
you can say what you
Uh,
want.
all right. So he goes, I go, what do you know that I don't know? And he goes, F all. He goes, nothing. He goes, see all those books behind me? And he had all these like marketing books and stuff. And I went, yeah. And he goes, don't know what the F's in any of those. Couldn't tell you. Don't care. He goes, no one cares. He goes,
But he had the
but
piece of paper on the wall?
nah, he goes, the one thing it teaches is critical thinking. So
Supposedly. But
it
I've got
does.
so much study under my belt, and I'd say it probably doesn't actually teach
Oh,
critical thinking.
it did for me. It did for me. So he was like, he goes, it just shows that you can think about things and you can evaluate things and you can evaluate research and stuff. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go get that. And then they were like, all right, go check it all out. So I went and checked out. I kind of knew what I was going to wanted to study. So I wanted to do logistics and supply chain management because that's what I'd kind of worked in all my career. And I went and checked out, oh, what do I have to do and all that kind of stuff. And then it said, oh, it'll take 6 years. I went, gee, that's a long time. I thought, oh, if I do it full time, I can do it in 3 years. And they said, oh, work out a plan and come back. We'll let you know. And I went, all right, sweet. So I said, okay, I want to do full time study. I want to keep working. If you guys pay for the degree, I'll sign a contract where I'll work for an X period of time, or I'll pay you back after I finish it. And my boss, not the guy that spoke to me, my actual boss, because he was like the general manager, and I had a boss that wasn't like was reported to him, and she just went, "Nah, I don't think you'll be able to do it, so we're not going to pay for it." And I'm like, "That's a bit odd." But anyway, I'm like,
Really? Even after
"Yeah,
you took the initiative and you
yeah, yeah."
agreed to
So
sign a contract and stay on
so
until you
yeah,
paid it
so
back and
exactly. So I went and did the test to get in. I just passed it. I just got in. I just got in. I was like freaking out. I did the test. And I was like, all right, what do I do? And Katie, my wife, says, well, she wasn't my wife at the time. She goes, just leave. Just leave and do it. And we'll do it hard for 3 years and just get it done. And I went, all right. So I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm going to go do it. And I went, oh, okay. And then I remember reading my goodbye card from that job, and someone wrote, oh, good luck, Matt. You'll need it. And I'm just like, man, I'm thinking, what do they know that I'm screwed. I'm thinking, have I bitten off more than I can handle? I'm thinking, what is it? I'm, am I going to be able to do this? So I went and did this, so I rock up at uni on the first day, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I recorded all the lectures with a little, so when I said I go all in, I went all in. I did all the reading. I recorded all the lectures. I listened to them back again at night and took notes and went, oh, I didn't quite understand that bit. I'm going to go check that out. And I did everything to the letter, to the
you
letter.
always use your full ass. You never use half an ass.
I never half-ass it. So I went all in, and I did the first semester full time, and I got my results back. Well, I got my first assignment back and I got a HD, and I was like, oh, shit, that's pretty good. I thought that's all right.
Wow.
So then I got to the end of the first semester and I got two HDs, a D, and a credit. And I'm like,
First
oh,
time studying at uni.
first time studying at uni. But the second semester, I got three HDs and a D. And I'm like, I'm just going straight HDs. So I went all in and I loved studying. I love the fact that you can't just go, oh, I think this. Because if you turned around and went, I think this, they would go, who are you? Who are you to say, I think this? What evidence have you got? What study have you done? What controlled study did you do to come up with that? Like, how do you know that what you think is right?
Have you ever looked at the reasons behind controlled studies and who funds people to do them and why these studies are done on certain topics?
With medical stuff, it's probably different to business stuff, to be honest, because like business stuff is usually that an academic will go into a business to try to help them. What they find, they apply to their publication. So they'll go, oh, we did this in this business and we found this, and then we tested it on this business. Like their business is actually in the ability to consult later.
Wasn't that Toyota manufacturing
Yeah,
model? Like that was about continuous improvement and
yeah.
efficiency and things. That
So
was
there was
an example of
heaps of
that,
that.
wasn't it?
I learned about heaps of that, but there was just the fact that, like, even in marketing, there are certain laws that certain like rules of marketing that can be proven with data and numbers, and they were very specific, and you could just go, well, what about this as per Ehrenberg 1987 or whatever like that, and they'd be like, oh, okay. So I enjoyed that. And I would be the guy arguing in the lecture with the professor. I'd go, well, hang on a minute. You're saying that now, but what about what they found with that? And they were like, oh,
So perhaps
okay.
coding will be a new future hobby then.
I don't know. But they kind of said, all right, they were like, we want you to be a academic. And I went, what do you mean academic? And they're like, oh, we want you to come and be a part of the uni. Like, we want you to do research. And I went, well, what's the pay like? And they were like, oh, you know, they told me what the pay was. And I went, no, I need more money than that. I said, I'm going back out there to work. And they were like, oh, okay. So I ended up finishing uni as the top of, so I halfway through, after the first year, I went, well, all these courses I did in the first year are the same for a marketing degree as well as a logistics degree. So I went, oh, I might as well do both. And then I just went, how do I do it faster? And I went, well, I'm going to do 5 subjects per semester, 2 summer schools, and a winter school. So I did 13 subjects per semester, per year, and the normal load for a full-time student was 8. And they were like, oh, I don't know. And then they went tick, 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 tick on the computer and they went, oh, okay. And they saw like the grade point average from all the assignments and everything. And they went, all right, go for it.
So
Go
you
for
weren't
it. And I'm like,
working at this point, you were just studying
I
full
wasn't
time.
working. I
But you
wasn't
still had a
working.
young family and
Nah,
a
didn't.
partner.
Nah, didn't had a partner. So Katie worked and basically supported me through the whole thing. And I was like, man, I've got to do something at the other end. So that was part of the, you're an eyeball now on my screen. That was part of the drive for me to do well is
Excuse
that,
me, I just had to sneeze.
is that what it was? Because she, I'm pointing at a picture of her on my other screen, but because she supported me and we put our lot, like we put that part on hold. I was always calculating in my mind, okay, well, I've given up 3 years of salary. Therefore, I've got to make up at least this and this. And I was always working out the return on investment of when I would have covered that 3 years. But I knew I had to do good. And I was always of the opinion that if I was competing against another 1,000 students, which I was, I have to be the best so that when I come out the other end and I go to get a job and they go, why should we hire you over this guy here who's 18 and cheap or 19 or whatever age you are when you graduate? Why should we hire you? I wanted to just say, because I was the best.
So you never subscribed to the P equals degree ethos?
No way. No way. So I won the, that's what I was going, so I got this photo here. So I won the University of South Australia medal. So
Wow.
that goes to the top half a percent, the top 0.5% of students at the uni.
Wow. And that was a mature age student as well. So you
That was
hadn't come straight out of school. You'd been working for a while and it's
everyone
really
that
hard to
won that.
study as an adult, I have to say.
Most people that won that had worked, to be honest. Because the advantage is when you learn the theory to the things that you've already seen, you can apply it. So you'll go, like, I'll learn a theory and then I'll go, oh, because the way you get high grades is by saying, as per this research, who said this, for example, in a manufacturing situation, this could be applied in the following way.
You can combine the experience and the research. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
advantage.
So
Wow,
when I
that's
used to
amazing.
write, yeah, so when I wrote exams, I'd always go, oh, as per, and I can think of an example, blah, 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 and I'd say, this is an example I have based on this research. And I remember getting told by some of the lecturers, they would say, this is perfect exam answer because you've shown the theory, but you've also applied it to an actual situation. And I used to feel sorry for some of the kids that came out of school because they didn't really know what they were learning yet. So I actually think that working first and then studying gives you a bit of an advantage because you can relate what you're studying to your actual work, what you've done. So the whole point of this story is at the very end of that, knowing that I got the top student in both my degrees, the medal, knew my shit, I will never ever let anyone ever tell me again that I'm stupid. I will ask questions. I don't give a crap who it is. If I have a question, I will ask that question. And that has served me very well since I left uni because I just challenge. I will challenge. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's the managing director.
Do you find that makes people uncomfortable sometimes?
Only people that have got something to hide, people who are genuinely want better outcomes and want to be challenged, love it. Like I've had people just go, Matt, ask a question, go on. Like they'll do a big massive meeting and then they'll at the end they're like, go on, Matt. And I'll go, well, when you said this, like, because I'm still in study mode my whole life. I'll be writing down questions when someone said something. I'll just be like, no, that doesn't sound right, or what does that mean? I'll tailor the question. I don't always confront people. Depends on what kind of discussion it is. I don't always confront. Sometimes I just nudge, but I always ask questions. And all it's done for me has basically given people the impression that I'm a smart person that thinks.
Because you're able to think critically and analyze and make up your own mind about things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
And using data as well. So when people go, oh, I reckon this, I'm like, I don't see any data that points to that. You've just made that up. They're like, oh, it's, from the gut. And I'm like, no, nah, I'm not going to go with that because you feel but I'm not seeing that the numbers back that up. So I always make a point of kind of being data driven. But the difference with me is because I'm a relatively creative person, I have creative ways of using data, which is quite useful in the business world. So I always say I can't remember what I said on my LinkedIn, something about I turn I validate gut feeling with data or something like that. So I always go, I reckon this, and then I'll go, well, let's go check, and I'll go and make a program that goes and checks out what I'm thinking, and I expect to see a certain result, and I'll go, well, that's the result. So that
You're
confirms what
able
I
to
said.
find evidence to back up your feeling about
Yeah,
something. That's
yeah. And
really
then
good.
I'll go look in the data and I'll say to someone, can you go check this out and see whether this resonates with the gut stuff? And they'll go out and go, oh, what do you reckon about this? Oh, I think this. And they'll go, it's exactly what you said here. And I'm like, that means that data is pointing to the right picture.
Sounds like you'd have to trust your gut feel first, though, to then go looking for the evidence to support it. So you have to have a combination of knowing how to find data and analyze it, but also being able to trust that first initial, I think this, or I feel this.
Yeah, but that for me came from uni, from studying like case studies of different businesses and just like different theories of stuff like I learned statistics and all that kind of stuff. Like statistics is just maths. There's no ulterior motives in publishing papers about statistics. It's just people just enjoy doing maths and they enjoy um, inferring things from numbers and seeing patterns and stuff. Like I mean, that's been happening for thousands of years. People looking at maths patterns and like I find statistics fascinating. I love statistics. I just really enjoy. I think once you study statistics, your ability to critically evaluate things massively improves. And you just think to yourself that little bit more often, is that likely to be real? Like, is that likely to be true? And you just start thinking about it and you go, why would someone do that? Why would, like, especially in this climate with what's going on in the world, and media and AI media and bots and all sorts of like propaganda stuff all over.
Yes, you got to be really discerning to figure out what's, accurate
Can't
and what's
you,
not.
you can't even work it out because once you start going down one path, all these algorithms and everything reinforce what you already think. That's why the world seems so divided at the moment, because what they
That's
look at
true, because it
gets
just gives you more of what
reinforced.
you're already looking at. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, because I sit there and I watch stuff and I go, I wish that certain people could see, but what I'm looking at now, but they'll never look at it. Just like I'll never watch what I consider to be the crap that they're watching right now, whatever. It's just like reinforced all the way. Like, it's pretty crazy. I saw something on Reddit today. They were saying, "Oh, what's your prediction for the future?" And people were saying stuff like, "I reckon social media will disappear because everyone will walk away from social media because no one will be able to discern whether it's real or AI."
Yeah, AI is pretty scary. Like there's a few things I've seen and I have to look twice because yeah, it looks so real.
Yeah, but it's amazing as well.
Yeah,
So
it is what it is.
AI has transformed my life. I'm not joking. It's totally changed my life.
Is that
How
because you taught yourself to code and AI's helped
coding,
you
but
improve your work, or is
yeah.
it
So
with
that
your streaming stuff?
it started with the coding and programming and writing Python and SQL and all those like programming things for work, because I was just like, I was always reliant on IT people. Like, as a creative person that likes data, if you don't know how to get the data, you're reliant on an IT person. And a lot of the times the IT person doesn't know what to do with the data or how to be creative with it. So I always found myself having to try to convince IT people what I want to do. And I was like, well, we don't do it like that. And there was always a barrier between me getting what I needed. And I just made the decision a couple of years ago. I just went, I need to break that barrier. I need to just do the IT stuff. So I started a course on Udemy. Is it Udemy, the learning thing? So I just bought a Udemy course, 100 days of Python. You just do 1 hour a day minimum. Sat there, I went for like 130 days straight doing the hour. And then I just forced myself to use it at work. So instead of doing Excel, I just went, right, that's it. I'm going to do it all in Python. And I sat there plonking away. And it was around the same time that ChatGPT came out. So I started going, oh, can you help me do this? And then what actually happened is my prompt engineering skills overtook my Python skills. So what prompt engineering is asking AI the right question to get a better answer. So I just got really good at prompting AI, and I I think probably about a year in, I wrote my first software, and now I just write software to do my work. So I just go, oh, we need to do this, so I'll write software to do it, and then I don't do it anymore. So I write a program to do the work. And that's like a massive hack. That's a life hack, that a work life hack. Because once you can program work, you've got more time to do. If you can program your work, you've got more time to do more programs, to do more work that frees up more time. And it's a flywheel. You just end up spinning, and you're sitting there going, what else can I do? And you start sticking your nose in other people's business going, I noticed you did that. I reckon I could fix that up for you. Like I'm I'm almost interfering in other areas at my work now, and like finance and marketing and stuff like that. And I'm going, I reckon I can help you there, because I'm in the data and I'm going, oh, they're looking at that, or they should be looking at that. And I'm like,
Well, it
it
sounds like
frees.
they appreciated your initiative and they didn't see it as an interference because you received an award.
I did receive an award, and I was super proud to get that award. But I mean, it's just, once you're like, if you're super passionate about it, and it gets to the point where I'm so proud of the things I've done at work that you just love it. Like, I'm a workaholic, but not in the sense that you think of, the guy that slaving away to make all the money and all that kind of stuff, never sees his family. I'm a workaholic in that I think about my programs and all my stuff that I do all the time. Like when I want to go to sleep, I lay there and I imagine my programs and what I can do and how I might change this and that. But my family see me all the time. I work from home full time, so I'm always picking up my kids and hanging out with them. And I don't work having this ability, like this programming ability, means I don't have to work traditional hours. Like I can kind of, I might after this call, I'm going to sit out here and I'm going to tinker away on some stuff. But I mean, I don't have to be there at 9 o'clock to do that report to send to this person who needs it to do that part because the computer's just going to do it. The computer's just going to fire up at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to send them their work.
Living the dream. So
Well, it is.
speaking of your family that you get to spend lots of time with, which is awesome, um, can you tell us more about your one of your sons and the health diagnosis he received and what you learnt about yourself through that?
Yeah. So, um, my youngest son was diagnosed as autistic, uh, probably 3 years ago, maybe a bit more, 4 years ago. So, the process to be diagnosed as autistic is actually quite intensive. It has to be done by a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and they have to, um, I think it's a psychologist, but they have to do a whole heap of testing, lots of like behavioral interviewing and stuff like that. And as part of that, obviously, a lot of questions are asked of the parents. So there's a lot of questionnaires. Does your son show signs of this? And they're all the things that basically are used to diagnose autism. So I'm going through the list and I'm going, uh, shit, that's me. So a lot of the stuff. So I haven't gone through the process of being diagnosed, but I'm pretty confident that there's something going on with me. And I've kind of really learnt from it and identified a couple of things that I need to be conscious of. Um, One of them is uh, like in certain social situations, I do a bit of masking, so kind of can't always be myself, and I get home from that situation, I'm like a little bit exhausted, kind of thing, and sometimes I don't want to say I lack empathy because it's not that I do care about people, but it's I can be black and white, and sometimes I can't read the room, and I'm can be very direct and just say it how it is when it's probably not called for. And I think a lot of people that are really good, like in their jobs or like managers or leaders or role models, have that empathy.
Well, it sounds as though I might be undiagnosed myself because I'm relating to a lot of what you're saying right now.
Yeah, so it's super like I mean, it's like it's very hard. It was almost like when he was getting diagnosed, they were kind of like, here's the line. I mean, it could go either side, and I'm like, go either side. Like autism diagnosis is just a thing. It's just a self like a designated place where they go, okay, this much you're this close to not being autistic, and I mean, why go? Oh, okay, well they're not then. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a label. It's a label, and I don't know if it's completely necessary. Like I think everyone's got certain traits that they need help with. Some
Yeah.
people just need more help with some things than others.
Yeah.
Um, some people have learned to deal with things that in a different way. Um, like I've got no doubts that I've probably wired my brain in a certain way to compensate for certain things, or and I guess the good thing about society these days is people know about autism and they know what it means, and they know what it means to be neurodiverse, so we can start helping people earlier to deal with these things, because it doesn't always pan out to someone being really intensely invested in whatever project, whether it be learning coding or playing the guitar. Like, I'm pretty certain that that's where my obsession with guitar came from when I was younger. I'm pretty certain that's where my obsession with coding has come from.
Sounds
And
as though
just,
you've been able to channel that intensity in to make it work for you, though.
I have, but not everyone has that. Like, there's other things that like outweigh that. And I probably don't have as many friends as I'd like to have. So I don't have as many close relationships from a friend's perspective. And that's probably got something to do with it.
I found
Um,
that happens with age too, though. Like you have a much smaller circle the older that you get.
yeah.
And especially being a musician playing a lot, you tend to see a lot more people more regularly. And then when you don't play in public as much as you get older, um, that crowd that you might have had, previously
Mm.
aren't there anymore. I find that too.
Yeah. I mean, there's that as well. But I think to myself, like, because my wife, she's able to make friends really easy. Like, she can make a new friend, like, she can go do a Pilates class or whatever, make a new friend, go meet them for coffee. Next week, they've joined a book club together, whatever it is. Like, there's some, like, she can do it. So people can do it. Um, I find it hard sometimes to, like, really connect with people, like, emotionally connect.
I've learnt recently that that has a lot to do with your nervous system as well. So it's not just, as you say, lacking empathy or not knowing how to connect with people. It's actually your body having, like you said before, adjusted for years and years of, coping or doing the best you can with what you have. And um, it's got to do with not only your emotional health and your psyche, but also your nervous system. So there's a lot of
Right.
things that play into that feeling of lack of empathy,
Mm,
apparently. So I'm learning more about that at the moment. It's
mm.
interesting.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, my son, everyone likes him, but he doesn't feel like he can make friends. And I feel the same as well. Like, I've got no doubt that people like me, but I don't have many people that I can ring and go, "Oh, how you going? What's going on?" And just have you know what I mean? Like, I do something I'm really proud of, or I come across, I have an issue with some kind of thing goes wrong at work or something, and I'm like, I don't have anyone that I can ring right now and just talk about it. And I don't know if that's a male thing or what, but I mean, I'm pushing now to, I'm actually, because I'd go out of my way, and I've made a real effort over the last couple of years to try to keep contact with, like, old friends, and I just ring people out of the blue and go, "Oh, what have you been doing? Do you want to catch up?" and all that. And everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, I don't really get to see anyone these days. I'm just so busy." And that's what I hear all the time, just so busy and stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, well, you've got to organise it. And then, like, I thought, oh, I'm going to organise it. And then I'd organise something. I'd go, oh, okay, rang a couple of mates or whatever, organised a couple of mates that I was friends with for like 25 years. Oh, you want to come around? We'll have a jam. We'll try to record a song or something. They'll play music. Yeah, yeah, that'd be sweet. We organised a day, and then on the day they cancel. And I'm like, this is shit. Like, I'm doing like, it got to the point where I said to Katie, I said, I feel like I'm doing everything I can. So I'm either a dick I'm not either a person that no one wants to be around, or I can't blame myself here. Like, a lot of people might go, well, I don't organise anything, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, you're making the effort and doing all that you can do
Massively.
within your control to make it
So
happen.
I massively made the effort for like a year, 2 years, like massively organising for people to, and then they would just cancel on the night. And I'm just like, and I had this attitude of, instead of going, oh, fuck you, you had a chance, that's it. I went, oh, all right, that's okay. And then I'd try again and they'd let me down again. And it just kept happening. So I was at the point where I went, well, I don't really know what to do anymore. And then I just thought, and I was talking to a few friends. I was talking to a friend from high school, and he was saying to me, like, there are a couple of people that I have close, like, I've grown up with them. Very small number of people. I've known this guy since I was 5 years old. So I'm talking to him one night, and he's like, yeah, I don't really have anyone I catch up with that much either. And I'm like, well, let's do it. He goes, oh, we should do it sometime. We should catch up. And I went, yeah, we should. This Friday. And he goes, oh, I don't know about this Friday. All right, next Friday. Next Friday. You want to do it? Yep. Lock it in. I said, on Friday night after work, I'll meet you at this brewery, this micro brewery down the road here. Oh, okay, yep. And then I'm like, all right. So you've complained. We've both complained about it. Let's do it. And then there was another friend from high school that's just moved down the road that we both kind of knew and hung around high school. And I messaged him, who I've also spoken to about this, and said, right, we're meeting on next Friday at this place. And he's like, I'll be there. So that Friday happened. And then I saw another guy at the gym who I've also spoken to about this. And I said, if you're interested, no pressure. We're going to meet down here on this Friday for a couple of drinks, play some pool. No pressure. He's like, yeah, I'll make it. So he came down, and then the four of us met up there, and we had a really good night. And I went, right, that's it. I'm putting this in the calendar every month. And I just went, a whole heap of people that I thought would want to go, and I sent them the invite, and I just did a recurring every month invite. And the second time came around, and a lot of the people that came to the first one came, and a few extras, and they were like, I'm coming back to this. And then we've had the third one, and I reckon there was like 8 or 9 people at the third one. And I think the reason it works is because there's no pressure. The fact that I say it's on this date, no pressure, you don't have to rock up, I'll be there, is enough that people go, I don't have to commit, and I can just not go if I don't want to. Because sometimes I think the commitment of knowing you have to go puts you off. It's like knowing you have to do something makes you go, oh, I don't really want to do it, but
I think also a lot of people are circumstantial in their um, social lives as well. Like, for example, if you have kids, you might end up socializing with people that are parents of kids at your kids' school. Or if you go to the gym, you might end up socializing with people that go to the same gym as you. Same with the workplace. Like, a lot of people won't go out of their way, so to speak, to
yeah.
socialize anymore. They kind of just stick to their daily routine, and if it fits in with that, then it's easy. But if not, it's a bit more challenging. But that's great that people are actually showing up.
No, I went outside the group, so I went like kids, parents, like parents of kids that my kids go to school with that I know, and old school friends, gym friends, people on the street, people I meet down at the cafe that go there all the time, and I just know them, and I'm like, come down. So what's happened is this group of people have come together. I'm the only common denominator, but they're all forming friendships as well. So I went one night, I said, oh, I'm cruising, and I left one night. And then because we'd made plans with one of the guys that was there, and his wife we're friends with, kind of Katie and me, friends with them. And I had to clarify something with Katie, and I rang him back, So he was like, "Oh, we'll have to reschedule Easter Monday because we're going to catch up Easter Monday. So we'll have to change that to Sunday because it's going to be raining or something." And I went, okay. And I went home and I said, "Oh, Anthony wants to change Monday to Sunday." And she goes, "It was already Sunday," or whatever it was. And I went, "Well, I better ring him then." So I rang him up, and when he answered, he was still at the place. And I went, "Are you still down there?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I went, "What's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, me and Luke got having a few beers." And that was like, so him and my old schoolmate kicked on afterwards together. And I'm like, I kind of went, "That's okay, that's cool." And I went, "I'm coming back." So I cruised back there. And for the first time, I kind of went, well, this isn't just for me. They're getting something out of this as well. They're connecting as well. So I just kept it going, and it's getting bigger and bigger every time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm stoked with it.
Cool. I was just thinking, you're talking about friends, I was thinking about Polly and
Ah,
how
Polly,
Polly might make friends.
Polly. So Polly. This is the original. This is the original Polly.
When did
So
Polly get created?
I don't know when that was. It would have been probably 2018, something like that.
I was trying to find a video of Polly making friends, but I couldn't find one.
So that, yeah, there we go. There's Polly.
Is Polly going to go on more adventures?
I don't know. I mean, that took a while to do that. Like that. So that was me. So those characters are. So this was a team building exercise at work,
Oh, was it?
and we all went to this place where they teach you how to paint, and we all did the paintings. It was like this. We were painting, and the backs of our paintings were facing everyone. And then at the very end, the person went, "All right, let's everyone reveal their pictures." And they went round the room, and everyone like turned theirs around, and they had like glorious like crests on these cockatoos, and when I spun mine around, the whole room cracked up laughing. And someone said, "That's the saddest looking bird I've ever
Oh.
seen." Like just because of his like, it's got like a humanoid body, no crest. And they were joking about how sad it looks, and people were actually like really laughing about it and getting genuine joy out of seeing how ridiculously sad the bird looked. So then we started breaking it out on the stream. So we started when we did the stream, we'd break it out, and then Buck and I had this thing where we said if we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll do a prize draw to see who can win the painting. Obviously, we never got there, but then I was like, mate, we've made t-shirts out of it.
I'm still waiting for
Um,
my Polly t-shirt, by the way.
yeah, so we've got t-shirts, cups. There's the cartoon, which is probably I'd say is rated R. Um, but what happened was I had the t-shirt, so I'm at work getting ready to go on a work call on Teams, and I jump on the call, and one of the guys on the call's wearing the t-shirt, and I'm just like, what's going on there? And he's just casually just sitting there.
Polly is now a worldwide phenomenon.
And then, yep, so then we jump on another call, like with the international people. So there was a guy from China on the call. That was our China office. And the manager of the China office goes, "Oh, wow, what's that t-shirt? That's amazing. We should get that printed on our products. We could sell that," all this kind of stuff. And then we would have like, we'd do quizzes and like with international, like our teams, and whoever would win the quiz could win a prize. And the prize was either a Poly t-shirt or a Poly cup. So it's not unusual for me to see people, like even my boss will jump on a call wearing a Poly t-shirt. It's just so random.
That's funny.
Mm.
All right. Well, You've written two albums as Tigershell.
Mm.
You've managed to turn your health right around. Do you have any pictures before and after?
Oh, probably would have. Let's have a look here. Uh,
And you've also written a book too. Did we talk about
I,
it?
we did very
So,
briefly.
what do you think makes you so motivated to do all these things? Because that's a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you get interested in something and I go all in kind of thing, but once I lose interest, I drop it. I drop it. So I yeah, I'm not kind of doing any of the poly stuff. I'm not doing anything and with the book, um, I'm just gonna find the YouTube, um, Instagram. But with the book, I did nothing to push it or advertise it or anything like that. I wasn't interested. Like I just went, it's done now. I've done it. That's it. I'm off to the next thing. So
So you
everyone's
just
like,
followed
oh,
what you're passionate about at the time
yeah.
and
With the albums I've
produced
written,
something out of it.
with the albums I've got a record label, and I don't push a single thing. I don't. I've released two different artists on the record label, and I
Oh,
don't.
other artists.
Yeah, there's Youth Expired is the name of the other one. Youth Expired, and it's more bit more metal. But yeah, I've just
So we can add
totally
record label owner to the list.
record label owner. But I mean, I don't chase it up. I just go, can I do it? So here is this is the probably the. I mean, I don't look like that one on the right so much these days,
You
but
didn't
that
look that overweight in the one on the left, so I'm surprised that you ended up
eh,
getting a type 2 diagnosis.
it was kind of getting there. It was enough that I had bad, just the genetics I had, it was enough that it was going to cause a problem real soon and
So how
probably,
long between the first picture and the second picture?
I reckon, 3rd of February 2016. Uh, so 332 weeks ago. Um, so probably, I don't really know. So that left one's 2016 to today. Oh, 2019. So 3 years. So that's 3 years of extreme discipline. So exercise. Like I'm talking Christmas Day. I rocked up at Christmas Day with a set of scales
Wow.
to weigh the ham. Like no cheating, no cheat days. I had one cheat day. I had like two cheat days.
Do you find that's mentally challenging not to have cheat days?
Because like once you're so far into it, once you're that committed, you can't go against it. You can't break. Like it's almost like not wanting to break the trend. Imagine someone like hitting a ball against the wall and going, "Oh, this is my record," and not wanting to stop because they don't want to break it. It's like that, and I reckon that's got something to do with neurodiversity. To be honest with you, like it's obviously um, that's got something to do with it. But yeah, I mean, that's not easy to get to that. That's not something you can like. You know, when people kind of go, "Oh, I'm gonna," like I used to think it as well. I'll diet for a little bit and I'll lose all this weight, and it's
It
like,
does take a long time and a lot of
yeah,
concerted, consistent effort. Yeah.
and it's a little bit. You have to kind of be a little bit. I say narcissistic is probably not the right word. Just a little bit. You
Committed
gotta
to yourself.
have a little bit of vanity. You gotta have a little bit of vanity. Like no one's getting shredded like that because they care that much for their health. Because you can be healthy and not be like that. That requires a level of like And there would have been times where even when I looked like that, that I looked in the mirror and went, I don't like what I see.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like it's body dysmorph, like all the whole thing can create like issues like body dysmorphia and um, problems with how you see yourself. Like you're never happy. Like I never went, I'm happy with this. Like even at that photo, I was like, I need to lose more body fat.
Is that a bit of perfectionism or
I don't even think it's that because I just don't reckon you can ever get there.
just always wanting more and attaining the next thing and never kind of being satisfied with where you're at?
I don't really know because I can very easily just drop stuff as well. Like I don't need perfection. Like even when I do stuff at work, that's like I'm the sort of person I'm happy with 80% is good enough. Like I often think that like if you can the 80%, the last 20% is double the effort, if not more. Like you've heard of the Pareto rule where 20% of things leads to 80% of the outcomes kind of thing. Like 20% of people represent 80% of whatever. I actually think 20% of the work gets 80% of the outcome, but the remaining 20% is four times what you have to do to get the first 80. Like it's always that last little bit is that much more. And I'm quite willing to go, nah, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. But there was something about this weight loss thing. I don't know. It was a little bit. I look back on it now and I think it's unsustainable. Like I was working out probably 8 or 9 times a week. So
Wow.
there's only 7 days in the week. So you work out what that means. So on like a Monday morning, I'd go do weights, and then Monday night I'd go swimming. Tuesday morning I'd go cycling. Wednesday I'd go to the gym, and then I might go for a 5K run at lunchtime. Like it was not sustainable. And what happened was I actually got injured, and that's what stopped me from getting further along on that one. And when I did something to the sternoclavicular joint, which is like this lump here. I was like coming home from the gym, Katie had to take my t-shirt off. Like, I couldn't even take my own t-shirt off. And I went to this physio, and he's like, "Oh, you've got a bicep strain or whatever." And he's massaging my bicep, and I'm like, "It's not getting better." And I went to my normal physio because I went to this other guy because my physio was on holidays. And he comes back from holidays, and I walked in, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've got this problem." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You've got a sprained sternoclavicular joint." And I went, "How do you know?" And he goes, "Because I can fucking see it. It's sticking out." Like, and I went, "Oh." And it was like fucking out here. And he goes, "I can see it." He goes, "Dude, you gotta stop." And I reckon from that point on, I never quite got back to what I was. But you gotta imagine going a whole lifetime without doing any exercise,
Yeah. I've
right?
gone a year without structured exercise and I started again last week and I've been sick the whole week because my
Yeah,
body is just like, what are you doing?
yeah. Well,
I've done
I went.
incidental exercise, but it's just the
I
weights and the structure of it. I straight away got sick because my body's not used to it. So,
so I didn't have wear and tear on my body. That's what it was. So I didn't have joint problems. I didn't have like any of that stuff because I'd never done that level of exercise. So when I started going, it only took like 6 months to 8 months or whatever it was to for my body to go whoa, and like the sternoclavicular thing. And I've had all kinds of injuries since then, but
so I
um,
suppose being extreme helped you get into it and make that lifestyle change, but then you had to pull back so you didn't injure yourself further and
the
so it's
reality
sustainable.
of it, yeah. So the reality, my body gave up before my brain did. My body gave up before my brain did. Like usually your brain gives up first and your body can actually do way more than you think. But some people like that have this obsessiveness, their brain just keeps going. And that's what happens with me. So I just keep like sometimes I'll sit out here and if I'm learning like if I'm working on a program or doing some coding or whatever, I'll go, and I'll stop and I'll go, I'm dying of thirst and I need a piss really badly. And
You've mastered the whole mind over matter thing
I,
then.
yeah,
You just
I
keep
don't
going.
even know. I don't even know that I'm thirsty, but that's like an autism thing as well. Found out. Like that's what sometimes what happens to autistic people. But I'm like, oh my God, like I can't even swallow. And I'm like sucking back water going, man, I don't even know when I last stopped. And it's just intense. Like it's just like I go inside and I'm just like, you know, when we stream and you go to bed and afterwards and you can't sleep. We've talked about this all the time. Like some nights I'll lay out, I'll probably do it tonight because we're staring at a screen and talking about stuff. But after a heavy night of coding, I'll go to bed and it's just racing around in my head. And then at that night, I'll dream about it and it'll just be going, and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll go, like, I don't think I really slept that well last night. But what's happening is all the little like networks in your brain that night it's all rewiring. Like that's all the learning kicking in. Like, so I wake up the next day and I come out and I look at the program and I go, and I just understand that a little bit more. It's like your brain is like a muscle. So all these, if you just sit there, people just sit there and they just doom scroll Facebook and Instagram. They're just like, just constantly just streaming, like just wiping their finger up the screen, just looking at stupid stuff. That's not challenging your brain in any way. Like all it's doing is releasing dopamine. You're just seeing what you want to see and you're going, and the algorithm's just giving you what you want to see and you're like, oh yeah, that's entertaining, that's great, that's great. And you're just flicking things over. You're watching like 20 seconds of a video and going, next, next. Like people sit there and do that all night. They're not they're not doing anything for themselves. Like if you sit there and you do puzzles or you like learn an instrument or try to learn a song, like if I used to find if I tried to learn a guitar solo, like if I say I tried to learn a Guns N' Roses guitar solo and I just spent ages playing it, I'd go to bed that night and I'd just be thinking about it all night and it would just subconsciously go over and over in my head. And then the next day it'd just be that little bit easier.
Must be where that phrase sleep on it comes from. It like sinks into
Maybe.
your brain overnight.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But that's where it all goes down. That's why they say get 8 hours sleep and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's my bedtime almost pretty soon. So I'll go to bed soon and I don't know if what I learned today, but I'm pretty sure whatever it was will rewire tonight and I'll think about it and then but if you're not doing that and it can be uncomfortable to put yourself, I mean, they teach kids, our kids, at the school, they call it the learning pit. And they say, oh, it's uncomfortable in the learning pit. You go into the learning pit and then you got to kind of find your way out. It's a very uncomfortable feeling to learn because you got to kind of you get frustration because you go to a dead end and then you got to back it off and you go down one avenue and you'll go, well, that doesn't make sense. And then you find yourself like drifting over here and you got to pull it back. And like learning can be really hard. But that what I was saying before about AI can help you learn something that might take 3 weeks in 3 hours. So you can just go straight on there and go. And I find myself just sitting there, I interact with AI probably 150 to 200 times a day.
Wow.
That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. I've told people that and they've gone, that's bullshit. No one does that. It's like, I do that constantly,
As long as
constantly
you've been able to
challenging.
use it as a tool for your benefit and it's, not using you, you're all good.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
we've planned holidays with it. I've learnt about cryptocurrency because I had no idea what that was, and I just thought I want to learn what this is. I've learnt coding. I've learnt like I've used it for all sorts of stuff, like a heap of stuff.
I did see a Polly buys crypto video here somewhere.
Yeah. That's when he puts all his superannuation into crypto that his mate tells him to buy. There it is. Yeah, and he gets scammed.
Ah, poor Polly.
Uh,
All
So,
right. Well, before you retire for the day, what do you think makes you uniquely you? This is what we're here to talk about.
oh, I don't know. I think probably just the uh,
Your mental tenacity,
yeah, I don't know. I
your love
just
of learning,
just my
your creativity.
my creativity, my creativity, because I reckon that's where it all starts. So you get an idea for something, and then you've got to work out how to get there. Because like ideas are just they can be massive, they can be little ideas, they can be huge ideas. The people that have had huge ideas had to work to get there. And the journey is often more important than the destination. So you can have a big idea, and then the journey to get there, you learn all this other stuff. That helps you have more ideas, more journeys, and it becomes like a flywheel. Like it just keeps spinning. And the bigger your ideas, the more creative you can be, the more you'll learn, the more journeys you'll have. But you got to kind of go after it.
So if someone wanted to be more motivated, would you have any advice to them?
I think you've got to start. That's the first thing. You've got to actually start. Don't put it off because there's what's that saying that the best
Easier
time
to
to
steer a moving ship?
well, or even something along the lines of the best time to start it is today or now or whatever. Like if you don't start,
Don't put
there's
off
no
for tomorrow what you can start today?
yeah, something like that. There's no point in putting it off. So I would say that, and then the second thing I'd say is probably try to make yourself accountable to something, whether that's yourself or um, I don't know. Like I make bold statements. I go, I'm going to do this, and then I kind of go, well, now you got to do it because otherwise you'll just look like a bullshit artist. Like, you know what I mean? Like I kind of some people go, I'm going to do this, and then they don't do anything, and you just go, oh, well, and it's too easy for them to say that. But if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So I make the statement out loud, and I go, I'm going to go do this. Just don't make it too ridiculous that you can't. But the more you do that, and the more you achieve something, the greater your aspirations become, and the more ballsy your goal, like your yeah, your aspiration, I guess. The more you do and the more you achieve, the more you're prepared to bite off. And just don't be afraid to start something. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for helping me to start this podcast. You are the
That's
first
all right.
guest.
Oh, am I? Oh, no.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
So
All
I
right.
appreciate that. Just shows
No
how
worries.
motivated you are.
I was talking to Katie. I'm like, why would I be on a podcast? Why would what? And she goes, oh, you're interesting. I went,
You
no, I
are
don't.
interesting.
Uh,
You've done a
yeah.
lot of things. And this podcast is all about what makes people uniquely them
Mm.
and why individuals are interesting. And hopefully, anyone listening to this, I've been inspired just having a chat, but anyone listening to this might take inspiration from it and say, hey, I'm going to start that thing, or I'm going
I'd be
to
stoked.
teach myself how to do something, or, you know,
I'd be stoked if that happened. I love if people get inspired by something I do. It doesn't happen very often, but I do really like that. I think what do they say that it's the ultimate flattery or whatever. Someone,
imitation is the highest form of
yeah, or
flattery.
whatever. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe not imitation, but I mean, if you inspire someone to do something, it makes you feel good.
Well, in the meantime, you might have to settle for the international fans on Twitch.
That's it. Yeah, that's all right.
All right.
Well,
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to have a chat.
no worries.